for helping to organize this event. To Michael Lynch, Marilyn Brewer, Judy Efron, and Lulu Rosen. Thank you. I think it's appropriate just to start with a short quote from Dan Rather's blog called Steady. He wrote this yesterday. The tides of history are shaped by who is willing to show up, to act, to be counted. So first and foremost, thank you all for showing up. This evening is the one-year anniversary of the attack on our democracy. While this is a solemn occasion, it's also a moment of celebration. Our democracy triumphed over 4 years of attack and corruption. Our democracy held, our institutions held, and a new democratically elected president and Senate and House began the difficult task of preserving, defending, and protecting our democracy. I'm here, like you, tonight, out of love for our country. My father, he instilled this in me. He served in the Second World War in Patton's Third Army in France and Germany. And to me, standing up here in front of you, as nervous as I may be, is the least that I can do to give back to our country. Our goal tonight is to help you get involved in protecting our precious democracy. We want to give you ideas and actions, whether it's something small, like signing up for a newsletter by Robert Hubble, or joining a Get Out the Vote action with the League of Women Voters, or addressing pre-written postcards to voters in different states. There's a lot that we can do as individuals and as a community to support our democracy, to assure that the majority's voice is heard, to make certain every vote is counted, and to pass along the gift of our democracy to our children and our grandchildren. And so with this, I'd like to introduce you first to State Assembly Member Steve Bennett. Assemblymember Bennett was elected in November 2020 and represents our district in the State Assembly. He's a former American history teacher, so I look forward to hearing his perspective on the events of January 6th and how we can support our democracy. Right after he speaks, we'll hear from our elected member of Congress, who we're proud to have here tonight, Salud Carbajal, who will share with us his personal experience on that day 1 year ago and what we can do to protect our democracy. So please provide a warm welcome to Assemblymember Bennett.
Give me 1 second to get this mic. Okay. Go for it.
Hey, good evening, everybody.
Don't touch the mic.
Don't touch the mic. All right. Good evening, everybody. That's hard to do, you know. When we got the call about this event this evening, I was already scheduled, and I immediately said, we have to find a way to change my schedule to be able to be here, because there are a few things that I think are more important than the battle we have to defend democracy right now. And so there was an attempt there to say thank you to the organizers of this, but I feel really strongly this is one of the most important events that we can be at and we can participate in. So how about a really big thank you to all the people that pulled this thing together for us, please, all right? Thank you very much, right? So we all know that 1 year ago today, the very cornerstone of democracy came under attack. The peaceful transfer of power from one authority to another came under attack, and it was the culmination of 4 years of cynical, manipulative push for popular authoritarianism, led by one of the most cynical and lacking in ethics people I think we've seen in the history of the United States. It culminated in that attack, and we are fortunate that the institution held. But there is no certainty the institutions of democracy can hold under what we know will be a long, continuous series of attacks coming forward. 2 years from now, 2 years after that, every 2 years we'll have to battle for control of the Congress. We'll have to battle for control of the executive branch. We'll have to battle for control of those people who appoint the judges to the judiciary and the Supreme Court. Those battles are not certain, and that's why it's really important we're here tonight to sort of reaffirm our faith and send a message to as many people as possible of how important this fight is. You know, what's sad is the way the former president rode to power and the way he brought us to that terrible day 1 year ago was something that is known and is used over and over again by this populism authoritarian effort. And it's a very simple pattern that's out there. And what's really concerning is when authoritarians use that pattern to take a democracy down, they don't give that authority up. It is very difficult. So the fundamental peaceful transfer of power is essential to us here, and it's not something that people like Donald Trump would be supporting if they are able to get back into power and maintain that authority. I'm particularly concerned about how simple the pattern is, and we had somebody that simply didn't have enough ethics to be able to avoid taking this pattern, and we're seeing it going on across the world. And that pattern is simply the big lie, find somebody to scapegoat, discredit all of the institutions that could reveal your lie as a lie, and then intimidate with violence, if possible, as many people as possible. So let's look at January 6th. The big lie, the election was stolen. Who was it stolen by? The scapegoats, the immigrants that were improperly registered, millions of them, stole the election. And then we discredit the county election officials, the state election officials, the FBI that's supposed to investigate the fraud. You discredit all of the institutions that are out there to reveal that the big lie is a big lie. And then what does it culminate in? January 6th, and the actual attack on the Capitol. So what can we do about it? Well, certainly you being here means you have gotten the message that simply saying, I don't buy all that stuff, I'm not going to be complicit in that, that's not good enough. If we live in a democracy, what we have to realize is we have won and been born into the privilege to fight for a democracy. The privilege to fight for a democracy is something that should inspire us, not wear us down. We shouldn't get discouraged by this battle. We should be inspired by this battle. It reminds us of how important it is, how precious it is, how precious it's going to be for our children and our grandchildren. So I thank you for taking a step, the first step, but not the last step, that we have to take to honor the privilege we have to fight for democracy. And so, thank you. And so now I have the privilege to be able to introduce the exact opposite of the big lie. And that's the big truth from Washington, D.C., Salud Carbajal, who was there that day and can tell us what was happening. Congressman, come on up.